Boom, hello, and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. This is the #1 podcast in the executive protection game, and this is the largest free real-world library of executive protection content in existence. So sit back, relax, dig in, and enjoy the show while we honor the slogan that executive protection is more than just a job, ladies and gentlemen. It really is a lifestyle. Boom. Boom. What's up, team? Bringing back something we've done in the past that's been pretty cool, which is the field notes episodes of the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast, right? So this next episode is going to be full of real world executive protection field notes that I've done out in the field, principles, techniques, tactics, all those things. Remember, many different ways to skin a cat, right? This is just stuff I'm using right now, my teams are using right now. Just to give you guys some tools and some value. This is more than just a podcast, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is a place where you can actually learn and take your craft to the next level. So, sit back, enjoy these field notes for this episode and so much more. Hopefully you come and train with us. Hopefully we get to do our careers together. So much more stuff coming to you. But if you're watching this also, this episode is going to be a really good one to watch on YouTube because YouTube is going to actually show you where I'm at, show you the principles I'm talking about. So if you haven't checked us out on YouTube or checked out my YouTube channel, I heavily recommend you look me up on YouTube, the Byron Rogers channel, and let's join forces there as well. God bless, Semper Fi, more to come. Enjoy the podcast. Yo, team, Executive Protection Training Day field note. Check this out. So when you're pulling up to the gate at an FBO, right? This one sometimes can come in handy like at the last minute, right? Say you're driving a client from a venue, you didn't have time to get an advance guy out there. Make sure that when that client lands at the other points when you're doing your advance, you have a relationship with the FBO so they know who you are, they know the tail number that you're driving for, all that fun stuff. This will make it so that you can generally pull right up to the gate, hit that call box, and get tarmac access if they are already familiar with you, right? In many cases, obviously, none of the things I share with you guys are golden pills that are going to work everywhere all the time. But these are cheat codes that work most places, most of the time, right? So once you get up to that call box, you can hit the call button and you can pull you and your clients straight on. And another little tip for the game is when you are driving around on a tarmac, never go above 10 miles per hour. I try to go like 6 miles per hour when I'm on these tarmacs. You never want to draw any attention. You want to act like you've been here before. Generally, you will have a golf cart in front of you that will show you around on the actual tarmac so that you don't go anywhere you're not supposed to go. And when you're driving around out here and you're out here on one of these tarmacs, it's very important that you pay attention to where you're actually driving. There are yellow lines. There are lines at the farthest point that you can go in a car. Don't ever cross those lines. Usually they're on the external side of the plane, the farthest side away from the actual FBO itself. First and foremost, get familiar with the FBO personnel staff. Let them know what you're doing, that you are driving for this tail number. Right? Set that up before you're on your drive. That way when you give them a 5 minutes out, 10 minutes out, they're expecting you, you can hit the call box, you can roll straight through. When you get on the tarmac, they may have a golf cart taxi you. Let that golf cart taxi you, drive respectfully, I try to keep it at about 5 miles per hour, at the maximum 7, right? Once you get on the tarmac, make sure you never cross the straight lines that usually run parallel to the FBO itself. That is the farthest place you can go inside that space of the airplane parking area. And if you go past those lines, you're going to get a fine. So just a few considerations for flight-based operations in the executive protection game. Hey, if you guys haven't seen this series, I've got over 100 of these executive protection training day field notes. Go to epspecialist.com or my YouTube channel to download them free. But let's train together. Let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. epspecialist.com. Byron Rogers, protector by nature and by trade. Boom. Boom. What's up, guys? Byron Rogers. Real quick safety brief for being on private aircraft. Obviously, hopefully you've done your advance and you know all the information you're supposed to know from that. But on these aircraft, generally the medical equipment is located in the same places. up here by the cockpit. Usually there's an area in here that's gonna have your first aid, AED, anything that you would need for you know, a cardiac event and things like that. They're gonna be up here. There's usually a little boo-boo kit. And so this is a good place inside the aircraft to familiarize yourself with. Satellite, sat phones very often are up here as well, to familiarize yourself with when you're flying private with your clients in case something happens beyond what you should have with yourself in your second mind gear and in your own medical equipment. Obviously, familiarize yourself with the safety procedures when it comes to exiting the plane, life vests, life rafts, all the usual things that you see on a normal airplane. They also exist inside these private aircraft. And obviously, as executive protection agents, it's our job to know all of these things. So, quick training day field note, familiarize yourself, front of the cockpit, obviously. Usually right next to that, boom, is the emergency equipment inside most of these aircraft. It's usually the same way. So this is a place you might have to go if you're being called upon for a medical emergency in the air. Byron Rogers, Executive Protection Training Day. Field note, join us at the league, executiveprotectionspecialist.com, and let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. Out. Boom. Boom, what's going on, you guys? Byron Rogers, Executive Protection Training Day. Field note, working solo, there are going to be times when you're going to have your principal behind you. What do you do in these times? There's little cheat codes you can do when you're out in the open. You're walking next to a building, you can bounce their image off the windows so you know exactly where they are and you can watch the entire environment. We're approaching doors right now. I'm looking at those doors, I'm looking at me and my principal. I'm paying attention to where he is because of the reflection in the glass. Every 2 seconds, we're looking behind each other, not all the way back, just enough to catch that principal in the corner of my eyes so I know exactly where he is, I know exactly how far back he is, how many paces I'm gonna need to get back there and get to him. The reality is when you're working a client solo, there's just a little bit less coverage you're able to offer, but there are still lots of different ways you can make sure you know how to protect that person when it's just you and him. Come train with us at the League of Executive Protection Specialists, epspecialist.com. Let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. Boom.
How I met Eminem for the first time. 13 years old, I'm in Toronto, Canada. I wanted to see the Up and Smoke tour. I figured $150 would be enough money to buy a ticket. It definitely was not enough to buy a ticket. I started to cry. The guys that sell tickets, one of them came over and was like, "Are you really crying?" "Yeah, like, I'm a singer. I'm gonna be a huge star. You gotta meet these people." It's like, not only do I scalp tickets, but I do celebrity photos. Where they're staying. Where are they staying? Staying at the Cambridge Hotel on Bay Street. We go to walk inside of this hotel at 11 p.m. The tour bus is outside. There's the who was his bouncer at the time. Whoa, wait, where do you think you're going? Into our hotel room. Like, I'm committed. Be committed to whatever it is that you're doing. Well, what room are you staying in? And I 703 because it's my house number. Yo, Proof. And there comes Proof. Ain't you staying in 703? Proof's like, yeah, I'm staying in 703. You know, me and my family are staying in 703. And if you actually don't get out of my way, I'm going to report you to the management because my parents want us upstairs in bed. Next thing I know, we're sorry, apologies. There comes Eminem out of the tour bus. You look like my wife, Kim. Finds out how old I am. He goes, "You're jailbait. I'm staying far away from you." He was super respectful, by the way. So let me just add, Proof and all of them were super respectful. Ended up giving my information to Proof because I told him that I was a singer. Hop into a cab. "Wait, what are you doing hopping into a cab? I thought you were staying in the hotel." And that's when I said, "I lied. I just wanted to meet you guys." 2 days later, I get a phone call from Proof, who ultimately introduced me to my first manager. And so I got signed to our company.
So here's a video from Cara Jones, who I actually have quite a bit of respect for. Go give her a follow if you are watching this. Like her, respect her, she's a sister in Christ, all that stuff. But I want to use this as a teachable moment to the executive protection industry, right? Listen to this story. As you're listening to this story and you listen to all of what it took for her to get past someone's security, past someone's protection. This is a high-profile individual. A couple of high-profile individuals were professional protectors. That's what it took. Now, also, this is in no way disrespectful to the guys working these guys because, hey, when you're on tour, you're literally going through so much information. I can guarantee you that this could happen to most agents in the industry, including myself on the wrong day at any point in time. So no disrespect to anyone at all, but I want to make sure that we use this video as a teachable moment to make the industry a safer and better place, right? So what could this agent have done to protect himself or to protect his client from making this mistake, or protect their client from being infiltrated, right? Obviously this had a happy ending. Maybe it was meant to happen, but you've got to understand that on the road, you're going to be confronted with people who are literally crazy about getting to your customer, client, principal, whatever word you like to use. They're gonna do and say whatever they want. I've found old ladies low crawling between chairs to the front of the stage. I've found old ladies, like women you wouldn't think anything of, hiding out inside of closets, inside bathrooms, inside green rooms when you do your sweep before your client comes off the stage platform, however you're getting down. You've got to realize that the people that you're going up against might be literally willing to say and do anything they can to get what it is they want. And the other piece of this is, what is your defense? Really, it comes down to the principle of knowing your assets, knowing what you can do, where you're at, using what is available, and then understanding the information that you have to know that can keep you safe. Knowing what the rooming list is, knowing how to call for fire, call for backup, call a lifeline if you need one, if you need additional help. Hey, Rodgers, I got someone up here who says they're in the same room as one of our principals. Can you just hit me with that rooming list? Who's in room ... Yo, negative, man. That's in one of our rooms. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, let's get the house over here. To just double check on her room situation. Hey, ma'am, can you just hang on for 1 second, madams? Young lady, can you just hang on 1 second? We've got to get with the hotel because I think there's some confusion and probably a mistake, and possibly a mistake. Maybe it's even our mistake, Can you just hang on 1 second because we do have to get this sorted out. Get the hotel over there, These are the different moves that can possibly aid you if you're on the road and you're running into a situation like this. Understand your assets, how to leverage them in a situation like this so that you can put someone or something like the house, whether you're at a venue, whether you're at a hotel, like even if you're at an FBO, like that, the entity that's also ultimately responsible between you and the aggressor or the person trying to infiltrate, so that they can take on the liability of someone calling the police and all the different things, and you can protect yourself, your principals, your clients, your stakeholders, and your customers. Just a few thoughts, not saying I'm perfect, could have happened to me too, and no disrespect to Kara, much respect, but I want to use this video as a little learning experience for some of the new guys that are going to be out here in the industry. God bless, Semper Fi. Let's make this world a safer place by helping good people to be more dangerous. Byron Rogers, protector by nature and by trade, out. Boom. Boom, what's going on, you guys? Byron Rogers here. Real quick, Executive Protection Training Day field note. When you're taking off from a private FBO, or even just when you're traveling or flying with your team, you want to make sure you develop your own manifests. Let your units on the ground, where you're leaving from and where you're going to, make sure they have enough information to be effective, right? I know some teams do it. I know some agents do it sometimes and not other times, but our kind of SOP that I believe helps with cohesion with the operation is the agent in charge on the aircraft puts together his own flight manifest. We let him know how many packs we have. We let him know our ETA. We let him know, use a flight tracker application, pull the link, and send that information to the guys who are receiving you. So if you're going from one state to the next, it's, Colorado to Oklahoma. Underneath it's 6 packs. If you want to get really tricky dicky, you can throw in the luggage, and then it's ETA. It's a quick, simple piece of information you can send to the other team so the other guys know when you're expected to come in, what they're looking for, and they can also track the flight in real time with a flight tracker link. So just the little things that separate the specialists from the generalists. Come and train with us at epspecialist.com. Let's make this next year the best year of your executive protection career. Boom! Boom! What's up, you guys? Byron Rogers, Executive Protection Training Day field note. No matter what happens when you're doing work as an executive protection agent, never let yourself get flustered. Never let your client or principal or stakeholders see you sweat. Do not let it happen. I don't care if you're getting shot at, if the itinerary is getting messed up, if the PAs are messing up your drivers. always maintain a cool head. Human beings, they feed off of each other's energy. And one thing that your principals and clients will appreciate is that no matter what happens, you're able to stay cool, stay calm, navigate it, make it not that big of a deal, and flow with what needs to be flowed with. Take a second, breathe, stay grounded, and make the decisions that need to be made. And just win. Get to a positive outcome. Your feelings do not matter. All that matters is how the quality of your decisions, and the manner in which you make those decisions. That's what will be remembered at the end of the day when you get through the fray with your principals, as inevitably chaos does show up. Just want to drop that on you guys. Join me at epspecialist.com. Come train with us. Let's take your executive protection career to the next level. Let's make this the best year of your executive protection career. Out. See it? FBO Operations. The gate. You've got to be sure before you move at an FBO that gate behind you is in fact shut. If you, for whatever reason, enter the tarmac, right, or leave, most importantly, if you leave the FBO without making sure that gate is shut, you can incur a fine. So this is an executive protection training day field note about FBOs, flight-based operation, private jet airports. Make sure that before you and your convoy, your movement, your motorcade, before you guys roll out, someone stays to make sure that the actual gate to the runway is completely secured. So on those little things you don't think about. And that's why I do these field notes. Hey, come train with us. Let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. Go to epspecialist.com. Let's take everything to the next level. Let's do our careers together.
Whoa, what's up, you guys? Welcome. Training day, field note in the EP game. Your detail leader, detail manager is dealing with 850 million things. A quick tip to be one of the solid guys that we like dealing with, this goes in the category of social dynamics, is to make sure you don't want to be a headache. You know what I'm saying? You want to be one of the guys that's awesome to work with, that's easy to work with, that we like working with. And so if you have a shift that needs to be covered because something's come up, hit the other dudes up on the team, find out who can cover your shift, solve the problem, and then bring the problem already solved to your detail leader, to your company owner, to your account manager, and let them know the situation. Hey, I've got something that's come up. I'm not going to be able to make that shift, but I do have da-da-da-da-da here standing by, ready to take my shift. If that works for you guys, that would work out best for me. Let me know. Thanks. God bless. Semper Fi. You know what I'm saying? So just keep in mind, you guys never want to be like the employee that takes the most work to have on the team. You want to be the employee that they never have issues with, that makes things smooth, that finds work, that improves the quality of the detail, that improves the quality of the position of the team and the minds of all of the different auxiliary teammates. What I mean by that are the spheres of influence that you have to interact with, like the nannies, the housekeepers, the drivers, you know, the PAs. You always want to be that guy. And this is one simple way that can help you be that guy. You can't make a shift, get it covered, then bring the problem, equation, and solution to your leadership. Byron Rogers, protected by nature and by trade. Join me at epspecialist.com. Let's train together. Let's make this the best year of your executive protection career. Out. Boom.
Boom! Byron Rogers, Executive Protection Training Day field note. So, what are you guys doing when it comes to OSINT, open source intelligence investigations? Do you have something established? Do you have a chain of where you send information, how you deal with that information, how you extract meaning from that information? As we've seen in the past in this industry, a lot of risk comes from the house staff and people who have constant access to our principals' homes our client customers' homes, right? Posting valuables, posting things with cars and different things like that, or things that we're always kind of looking for. I'll explain to you briefly kind of a flow and kind of how we do it on some of my details. You've got your residential team, and the cool thing is you might already have assets in place to be able to implement some of this strategy or a strategy like this pretty easily. You've got your movement team. You've also got your residential team. Sometimes they're the same, but many times there are two teams. Your residential team, along with what they are normally responsible for, they can also help out when it comes to OSINT. So while they're at the CP or whatever your detail calls it, they can be running digital patrols, right? Digital patrols over your customers' social media platforms. Anytime there's an event and you know that your customer is out with another individual, you can be running digital patrols on them, on their social media properties, as well as staff members, as well as, you know, anyone else who has access to your customer. These patrols can be ran as much or as little. You know, it can be something like, yeah, we do our foot patrols, but we also do our digital patrols at least once per shift. You can increase the frequency if there's a time where your detail is dealing with more risk, right? Once you extract some information or find something that's interesting, you guys can set up your catalog of persons of interest, and you can add those people to your ongoing digital patrols, right? Something you can do a workup on those people. You've got to train your guys in open source intelligence gathering, but there are lots of different ways to learn quite a bit about people on social media. You get those data points, you get those persons of interest. You have higher level companies and vendors that you can be associated with that specialize in really doing deep dives into people, and you bring them in for specific situations where you have a person of interest you really want to learn about. And then you have the PI level where they have access to more information. Say you have a vehicle license plate that you need the information on. Any and every detail should have PI assets and open source intelligence assets. So you actually have a way to learn about people that pose possible risks and maybe even threats to your detail. These are kind of these are some offensive tactics and strategies that executive protection agents can implement out in the field, and a huge ROI for your principals and clients so that you can see things coming. So more reports that you can produce and more ways for you to show how you can validate your existence. Obviously, this is not the way, this is not the EP Bible, but it is a way, and it can give you an idea of some techniques and tactics that we're implementing out in the field that can help you generate more value when it comes to your private security deliverables to your principals, clients, and stakeholders. Hey, come train with us at epspecialist.com. Let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. Out.
Keep walking. Keep walking. Back up, guys. Back up, guys.
Boom, what's up, you guys? The infamous commercial airlines flight pickup, right? This is the infamous commercial airlines flight pickup, right? So when you're in our industry, there are clients that fly in commercial airlines, and it can be a headache because commercial airports such as LAX, this is when you get picked up. This is when TMZ finds you. This is when you find yourself in hectic situations. It's almost like refueling in midair. You've got to land at the gate at the right time for the pickup, curbside, right when the client comes out. This is how I do it, right? Make sure you get that link from Flight Tracker or FlightAware so you can see the actual status of the plane, see how close it is. You can time it perfectly. I always get in the area at least 1 hour early, right? So I go, find a gas station, find a cold position where I can go to the bathroom, make sure the vehicle's set up, get the waters in place, get all the accoutrements in the vehicle, get everything stacked at least 1 hour early. Hopefully you've got an agent with the the customer or the client, the principal, who's giving you information when they actually touch down, all that stuff. So that by the time they actually hit the baggage claim and hit the curb, you are right on top of them. If they have a handler, that will make things even easier. A lot of airports have alternate spots where VIPs come out if they have a handler from the airport. If you guys paid a little extra for that, that's really, really nice. But the main thing is making sure you have comms with someone who's on the customer, the client, the principal, or with the principal, so you know what their flow is after they've landed, once they get off the plane, once they get their bags, and they get curbside. So I'll park in a cold position outside of the airport. When they're getting close, I'll start inching my way up to the beginning of the area where they're actually going to be curbside, and then I'll park all the way at the very beginning of the terminal, so that if I get tapped and have to move it along, I can stay in the area. Actually, I'll get there a little early. I'll take a victory lap, drive by, make sure I actually see where they're going to be coming out. A lot of times, if you can direct them to come out of departures instead of arrivals, that's a good way to avoid all the traffic. Let's see if I can sneak over here and show you guys. It's a good way to avoid a lot of the traffic that happens down there, where everyone's picking up their guests, by having your guests come out of the actual departure gates. And if you show up and you park at the very beginning of the terminal, that way when you get tapped, you can go closer. TMZ and all the boys are going to be down there waiting, especially when you have international flights where customers and where VIPs and things like that come out. You don't want to sit right on top of that gate, because when they see you, if you look anything like me, a big black guy with tattoos, or you look like an EP dude, or you're in an SUV, that's going to cue them that you might be waiting for someone. They're going to latch on to you. So half the game while you're waiting for your customer, your client, is avoiding them as you wait for your actual pickup. And then once you get that information and it's time to move into position, you get there right before they pull up, and boom, you make it happen. Just a little cheat code. Get your cold position off the airport grounds. Wait, make sure you're there at least an hour early in case they get in a little bit early, in case they catch a good tailwind, whatever it is. Make sure you get your flight tracker or flight aware link if you can, if you have teammates involved, and then have someone push you info from the time they touch down, so that you can be curbside when it counts. Have them come out of the departure upstairs aspect of the airport. And these are just a few cheat codes. Hey, let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. Go to epspecialist.com. Let's train together. Let's do our careers together. Byron Rogers, protector by nature and by trade, doing it in the real world. Boom, what's up guys? Executive protection, training day field note, right? Communication is key, we hear it all the time, but what does that really mean on an executive protection detail? Well, for example, contact with your principals, your protectees, your clients, customers, whatever you guys call them on your detail. It's very important that that's handled in the most efficient manner possible. The last thing you want is a principal stating that they told one guy something and that information didn't get to the team. So it's very important that you guys have an open and consistent rolling dialogue where you're all in the loop and tracking with client contact and conversations, right? It's very important that everything that principal says and or the contact you have with that principal is being pushed up to your leadership, so your leadership can help guide the customer's experience with you guys and make sure you guys and your teams are all on the same page. We keep a rolling conversation. If you have contact with the customer and you have a conversation, they give you any guidance, or even if it's a, hey, why is this way? Oh, well, it's this way because this, and then they don't respond to you and then you think it's all good. No, you let the team know, hey, this is the contact I had today. This is what I said. This is what they were inquiring about. You don't know if your leadership's been in a conversation with your customers, those you choose to serve, all week about how you guys are doing it. You don't know the overall implications because you don't have perspective on the entire battlefield. You don't know if another person on your detail had another conversation, said something differently, and now you guys look like you're on a different page, right? So you've got to continue communicating, and it's really a lot like an intelligence operation. Everyone's having different experiences. There's all these different pieces of information out there on the board that are coming to the team needs to act as one organism, one single-celled organism. In boot camp, we got taught how to be one organism. Many men, many players, many warriors, but we all operated like one organism. You have to be able to extract, pull all that data together, create a sight picture of what the communication and the perspective and the look and feel of the quality of your service is to your principal. And then you guys have to be able to deliberately guide that narration, that conversation, the framework of your perception in order to validate your existence. Make sure you're giving them the quality of protection they want, not need, because remember, protection's not about how well you can secure them necessarily. Protection's really about how much of your security assets they want in their life so that they can be effective at their mission. That's really what it is. A wise man once said to me, hey, whose responsibility is it to keep your protectee safe? And I said, of course, it's me. I'm the protector. And he said, no, it's theirs. They hire you, they implement you, and you can only do as much or as little as they want you to do. And the sooner you accept that as a private security professional, the better of a job you'll be able to do, because they'll have you in more positions because you are rendering security in a way that does not impede their life or their mission. And as a result, you generally end up being able to do more. And the private security industry is a whole different animal than any of the federal or governmental agencies and protection opportunities out there and jobs out there. So it's a whole different game. So make sure you guys on your teams are communicating. Do not be an information bottleneck. Do not be an I guy, and do not be the guy that was not diligent enough to push all the little data points to the team to get them on the board so we can make sense of the conversation we are all having with those we choose and have been hired to serve. Byron Rogers, Executive Protection, Training Day Field Note. Come train with us at the League of Executive Protection Specialists. Go to epspecialist.com and let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. Let's do our careers together. Out. Boom. What's up, guys? Byron Rogers, Executive Protection Training Day Field Note. When you're working a venue, say you're at a church, your client is going to possibly be on stage. What are you looking for as you do your advance report? Obviously law enforcement, obviously medical, paths of travel, the route from the green room to the platform, the route from the platform. This is the same for most venues, whether it's singing, acting talent, external doors that you can evacuate them through if need be. Make sure vehicles are staged out there. As you continue moving, hard rooms. How do we identify a hard room? And has no windows and doors. Storage closets, bathrooms, things like that are good hard rooms. Look for ways to fortify those rooms. And you also want to have some standoff so that you guys can hide in the room, not behind the door, or get around a corner so that, if someone was to shoot at you, they can't just shoot through the wall and through the door and hit you from the inside. Just a few considerations when looking for different locations to put your security plan and advance information into the overall security strategy when you are the first guy on the ground. Byron Rogers, protector by nature and by trade. Let's make this year the best year of your executive protection career. Out. Boom. What's up, you guys? Hanging. Byron and Luke hanging in the vehicle. Gonna have to do things, but
stuff.
Yeah, man, Luke had this idea for this video, and I was like, dude, we gotta knock it out. The videos we shot about the EP industry back in the day, I still get comments on. They're huge.
I literally just rewatched one of them the other day. We do need to make like a little update one.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's all still pretty much reigns true.
100% it reigns true, man.
Yeah.
What was it, like, number one thing to look for in an interview? There's a lot of good ones, so go back to the channel. But anyways, so for this video, Luke had this idea. What do you got, man?
All right, top 5 least favorite things about guys you're working with. Now, this isn't clients, okay?
Right.
This isn't like your boss, oh, the boss sucks. None of that. About dudes on the detail, and this can be static or EP centric as well, because I got a couple pet peeves about both. But I'll say for me, mine are more EP centric because it's kind of like at that level, you should not be messing. You shouldn't be doing it.
You should be a professional.
Exactly.
You should be a professional.
Exactly.
there's a few things that I want to just air out here real quick. Well, this isn't my top most annoying thing, but this is a big deal, right? So, you know, I run this school. I got a lot of good guys. I got a lot of good guys that want to see get in the game. But there's a legitimate vanity to this game, right? So on some of the res teams I run, sometimes I tell those guys, look at the movement guys. The movement guys are straight juggernauts. They're in shape. They're capable. If you see that human with a client walking around, you're going to be like, I don't know if that guy's EP or like their protection or not, but that guy could be an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're physically fit. They're specimens. So like physical fitness is a big thing. And there's nothing I hate more than watching someone invest in their training or watching someone try to get in this industry and keep hitting a ceiling and not know why. And I'm like, dude, do you look like I should pay you 6 figures to protect my family?
Yeah.
You know, that's one. Now, a pet peeve. So where I'm at in my career now is I'm on some details. I run some details. I'm an owner operator, right? DRG. So there's some details I'm running. There's some details I'm just putting teams in place, right? So there's a few kind of like avatars that drive me nuts.
I love this video, and I haven't even heard it yet.
There's the question asking guy.
The
right?
question
asking guy. You know what I mean? And I get it because some guys just want to do a really good job. And those guys ask high quality questions that literally the quality of the detail has to do with the answer to this question. But then there's the question asking guy. You know what I mean? Where no matter what's happening, he just has to ask a question. And he's just asking questions like, well, what if grasshoppers have machine guns and come over the back? I don't know, bro. Then maybe you're dead. Like,
you're probably dead.
You are judged by the competence and the quality of your questions 100% every single time, always. Don't just ask questions to ask questions to insert yourself. The question asking guy drives me insane.
I have a line I stole from Noner that I use for when guys go down that path. I'm usually like, well, common sense dictates.
Right?
And they're like, huh? And I'm like, stop, think about it. Like, should you park in the cheaper lot?
Right.
Or should you valet at the hotel?
Right.
What is common sense? Like,
based on our detail, based on our client,
like,
based
do
on
you
what
think
they're
it's
used
okay to spend
risk.
$40 for parking overnight in Los Angeles? Or should you park at the parking spot for $6?
Right.
Like,
is it just you or is it the client? Like, just use your common sense. Now, this isn't to say don't ask questions, because sometimes you guys have good questions, but don't be the question asking guy who just always has a billion questions. You give him one task, he has a billion questions. To turn this on its head so it makes more sense, the guys I love working with are the guys that I say, hey bro, this is the mission, this is the target, go. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're ziplining in, everything's done, this is what I did this, I patched this hole here, I sewed this together, I did this, here you go. Those guys, awesome, all day, thinkers.
And questions that are okay to ask. 1, dress code.
Yeah, 100%.
How does the client dress? Things like that.
Exactly.
If you start asking me really intensive medical information on a job you're going to work for the guy for 4 hours in Newport Beach, California,
right,
where there's like Hoag Hospital 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know.
Or like gun questions, like that are like, which gun do I wear? Or like just realize your questions show your level of experience in the game. So just think about them before you ask them.
Hey, Miss Cramp. I got a question. I feel real stupid asking it.
No such thing as a stupid question there, Danger.
Okay. How'd you get all the ice and hair through this little tiny hole?
It's like shooting. Write the police report before you pull the trigger. Okay? All right?
Yes.
So there's that. Let's see. Question asking guy. Another guy that recently kind of like, I was like, oh my, because as an employer, this is what happens when I see your text or your signal or your thing or your hand go up. I'm just like, this guy always. I got a team of 10 guys all sitting there like, roger that, ready to roll. And then question asking guys, and you're like, oh, you know, like, what, bro? And then it's like, hey man, do we zig or zag? I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to make the call. You're the guy, you know. So question asking guy is one of them. Make sure you catch the next video in the series to get the next one.
And we might do a couple because some are bigger, some are smaller.
Some are smaller.
But Stand
we're
by.
going to keep this one rolling. More to come. Video 2 in the series of pet peeves.
Okay, I have a little one, and then you
Okay.
can go on to a big one.
Pet peeves is things we don't like in EP agents we either hire, work with, etc. Professionals.
And what's
Send
fun
it.
about this is you have no idea what I'm going to say, and I have no idea what you're going to say. So it's an exciting thing
yeah,
for us as well. So I hope you guys
flow.
enjoy. Mine is the when are we going to eat guy.
Dude. Yeah, exactly.
I don't.
That's my
Should I?
response.
I'm going to let you
bruh.
explain to them
Like,
the when are we going to eat guy, or the when are we getting off guy.
yeah, man. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about what we do, man. There's a lot of downtime. Your schedule is just unknowable when it comes to a lot of client demographics. You're in the world of a billionaire in most cases. They do whatever the heck they want, when they want, how they want. 1, 2, maybe it's my Marine Corps background, but Chow's continuous in the field, playboy. Like, you gotta have your provisions and have your stuff stacked so you can get it going while you're going, you know what I'm saying? So you don't wanna find yourself in a position where you can't do security, you can't pay attention because you haven't eaten yet, or because you're a bodybuilder, you just need to eat 3 steaks right now. You have to perfect your diet. You have to understand what you're gonna need to perform at a high level so you have mental clarity. You have to understand these things before you go into detail. There's details where I had to be, and you remember this, where I had to be sitting in a chair directly in front of my principal for 6 hours, depending on how the night went, and I'm just sitting there. And then even when I got rank in the detail, it's so annoying. It's a blessing, but it was annoying. Even when I got rank in the detail, I'm running the detail, and he's still like, I want Byron right in the kill seat, we used to call
He
it.
trusted you.
And because he trusted me, right? So I'd be sitting there for 5, 6, and where I started the detail at, just because I was the guy, and I would literally hide 5-hour energies in my sock, bars in my sock, anything I could. The principle is make sure you're packing for the mission and you have your food for the mission, so you're not the guy who comes across as lazy, unprepared, and or just your mind's not in it. We're here to protect someone's livelihood, and you're like, yo, when are we gonna eat? Like this is not where your head's supposed to be right now. So
and there's no excuse for the look at our friend Jay.
yeah.
Like
Sipes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a legitimate Mr. Olympia looking stinking size
he won the
bodybuilder.
Excalibur bodybuilder.
He's gotta eat 10,000 whatever calories a day. Not a peep.
You gotta go,
He's worked for me. I've worked for Sipes. He was the assistant detail leader when I started that job with you guys.
Yep.
And then he came and worked for me.
Yeah.
Both times. Uniform, armed, on foot, but not a peep out of him. He had his prep. He had his thing, and it was just
how to manage his calories.
I don't have access to a he asked me, is there a microwave? I said no. He's like, Roger that. I'm like, you gonna be okay doing this, bro? He's like, you don't have to worry about me. And I never had to worry about it.
And I love it. Fire and forget, man. Those are the best guys. That's Jeremiah Sipes, Agro on Instagram. Shout out to the homie. He's part of the brotherhood.
Yes, he is. Yes.
So yeah, the when are we gonna eat guys is definitely an annoying one. We're at about 3 minutes. There's definitely another one. The doing the most guy.
Doing the most.
The doing the most guy. You know what I'm saying? The most tactical, galactical. Why do you have AR magazines on your? What are you doing right now?
In your sock.
Yeah, the doing the most guy. He's always the most tactical, hardcore, everything. And cool, bro. I would maybe kick in some doors with you, but we're out here doing EP, man. So the game is just you actually, in most cases, need to look as much like a dude as you possibly can and blend, man. So you can't be doing the most. You can't be doing the most, man. You gotta be able to come across like a responsible, respectable civilian until you need to come across like protection, right? In most cases, sometimes that's not the client demographic and you need to be over, but the doing the most guy, you know who you are because you're just always super tactical, and we're not in the sandbox right now. And all it does is it makes our signature super huge. Yeah. We walk in and everyone's like, why is this guy got these 5'11" cami? And don't get me wrong, 5'11" has a great civilian. I usually wear 5'11" every day and look like a normal dude. But the old school 1022 tux, the watch turned inside, all the things, and I respect it when we need to be tactical. But right now,
paracord bracelets.
as I have my paracord bracelet, this is tactical for the civilian work, for the civilian life. That's tactical, right? So they're doing the most guy.
This is not.
Well, if they know, they know.
Yeah.
They're doing the most guy is another one where I'm like, dude, what are you doing right now? In the next video, we will go into a few more. At least I know I have a few. He has a few.
I have more.
And we're going to talk about some of the things as a business owner that will help you stand out in a good way to your employers and also stand out in a bad way. More to come. Okay, so we are back. Video 3 in this series of things that pet peeves we have that drive us nuts about agents we work with. Things you want to make sure you avoid so that you can win in this game because your employers are noticing these things. The other one that drives me nuts, man, is just the basics. So my principle is, man, nowadays it is so easy to be the type of employee we want to use, and it is so easy to be an agent who rises to the top of your organization by just showing up on time. And don't get me wrong, I don't have problems with this in my company because I don't deal with these people for very long at all. Showing up on time, having all your certs. No, you know what? Hold on. We're gonna go on a rabbit hole here. You want to know who drives me nuts?
Get them.
The mother stinking. I put a call out. Very clear instructions and directions to who I want on my detail.
Yeah, another bogey coming in.
Okay, sir, you're too close.
Sir, go around.
You're too close. You're too close! You stand back!
Threat neutralized, ma'am.
You need to have a guard card. Motherfucking explosive weapons permit and a CCW. 3 things. You need to live in the state of California. And I get on the phone, Luke, still with these dudes. And they're talking about, oh, well, you know, I'm just still working on my CCW, but I got my, did you not read the email, homie? I gotta make this happen in the next 6 hours, and you want me to get on a call where I gotta be nice to you for 15 minutes? You understand? Oh, man, those ones get me. Oh, yeah. I mean, I got the guard card, and I already know where it's going. Yeah. Guard card, CCW, exposed weapons permit. Like, and now I just start the call off with this guard card, CCW, exposed weapons permit. And then they're gonna be like,
I'm a cop.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's a whole
it doesn't matter. You have to have your license.
You have to have your stuff.
You still have to have your stuff. You can be like a Secret Service
You'll
agent.
get yoked up
and you still have to have your stuff.
You have to have your stuff. And then I sit there and I'm like, and then of course, I'm not a mean person, so now I got to do the whole like, oh yeah, man. Then I got to explain it for 2 or 3 more minutes. Then I got to get off the phone nice, and I got to do all this stuff. I got 323 text messages right now that I'm trying to manage. I don't have time for you. Like, get your stuff, get it right. If you don't have what's in the call out, don't say anything because you will be judged for hopping in my life and not having your stuff. It's not okay. It's not fine. Okay, so that's a big one, and I know that drives any and every employer. We talk about you guys. Like, we sit there and we joke around and we're like, dude, man, I got like 8 calls with dudes being like, oh yeah, but like, can you fly me in from Kentucky? I'm like, bro, no, this is a local call. Oh yeah, but I'm working on, I got a CCW for Vegas, for Florida, I need you to have a CCW in California, okay? Understand, you know what I'm saying? So this is just a matter of professionalism. The second one on the professionalism tip is, it doesn't take a lot to be at the top of the game at most of these companies now because so many guys just don't have it. Get yourself some training, get your certs, show up on time. And if you want to know how to stand out, focus on customer service and how you can serve the team. If you're the one getting the information from the house mouse because you have a good relationship with the PAs and you're able to keep us on the left side of bang ahead of the game because you have a good relationship with the drivers, and you're able to come back to the CP or on the web, on Signal and say, hey bro, we got a movement in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Hey bro, clients are gonna be walking through and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. If you're the one, hey guys, I saw we needed this in the CP. I just figured I'd grab it, I'd bring it by. Hey guys, if you're that guy, you're gonna be golden, man. You're gonna win. You're not on time. You're early, just in case there was traffic. Just hit me another pet peeve real quick. I got another pet peeve. The guy that thinks it's okay to tell me that he was late for anything because of traffic.
I have a good story to back this up.
Are we kids?
What?
Like, when was it okay? Anyway.
It's not. One of my mentors.
Yeah, I remember this one.
We were on a Fortune 50, one of the largest retailers in the world. We were on the CEO of him, of this retail worldwide chain. And poor guy's in LA.
He's in LA, bro.
And he's flying to Vegas. I'm already in Vegas with our other friend Kane. And I'm staged up there. I was the assistant detail leader on that. And we were receiving them.
Yep, Kane's a savage.
A crane falls on the freeway in front of him. A crane. It was all over the news.
Not the bird.
Like a giant crane collapsed on the 405 freeway, and this guy was half an exit.
Yeah.
Everybody else behind him, they're all getting off the freeway. This guy was 2 hours ahead of time because he was planning on going to the gym before he picked up his client because he needs to stay fit, stay sexy.
Because you got to stay sexy. You got to sell security, baby.
And
sell security.
I'll never forget, I get a phone call it was like 8 or 9 in the morning, and it's from the owner of the company. He's like, "You're the detail leader now." And I freaked out because I was young. I'm like in my mid-20s. I'm like, I can't be the detail of this.
It's like the scene.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's like the scene in 13th Warrior. You're the 13th Warrior.
And like later I found out there was like an argument at the company about it. Like, no, he can do it, but which, thanks Kane for that, sticking up for me on that one. But, anyway, the client exits the jet. I put him in the car, and I'm riding AIC, so I'm shotgun. And he just goes, "Did you hear about Bill?" I said, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Are you upset I fired him?" And I go, "No, sir. Whatever. Bill's a great guy, but I just kind of like, it's kind of like, are you Democrat or Republican?" Like, talk about it. I don't know if I just.
Which one do you think is better, sir?
Yeah. What will get me fired today?
Right. Yeah.
And anyway, he asked that, and he said, "Do you know why I let him go? Because I'll never forget this. He was like, is his time more important than mine?"
Yep.
And I was like,
do the math.
And he wasn't like mad at him.
Right.
It was just one of those like something happened. I don't care what it is. I don't want to think about it anymore. And he let him go.
Yep.
Now that person obviously still has amazing standing in the company, and trust me, he was taking over somebody else's detail the next day.
Right.
Like that guy gets work because, first and foremost, the company first, which we'll get into later.
Right.
But I'll never forget that story, and I always remembered it.
Yeah.
And it's like so many days, months of good work.
Yeah.
Wasted by being late.
100%. Like, as a business owner, think about it. And then as an employee or as a specialist, think about it. How much is your time worth, right? Versus how much is that client's time worth? And what does that time represent to your wolf pack of agents that you're trying to work with and guys that you're trying to... That client's making how much money per hour? It's a simple math equation, but it's a very important thing that you never slow them down. These clients are making more per hour than many of us are making in a month. So you got to be able to keep up with the game. And, I could elaborate on that forever. It's not okay. I had a detail out in Calabasas. It's like 2.5 hours from my house. I was there an hour early every time. Because if one thing went wrong, then I would be late. And I could not have it associated with, first and foremost, my name that I was late. My grandma tell me I'm already black. And I made it worse by getting tattoos. And I ain't gonna be late. Okay?
But having said that, if I tell you to arrive at my hotel at 8 o'clock and you're texting me, I'm in the lobby at 7.
Yeah.
You don't know what the time change I have and the flight I just took or how late I was on.
Just because you're early, don't start bugging people.
Don't start barking me up. You can hit me up 5-10 minutes till, and I'll come meet you in the lobby.
Exactly. Don't start bugging people.
No, I can't.
It's our job to be early.
What would you like me to do? I'm like, I'd like you to stop texting me because I'm probably showering or taking a dump or talking to my family or having some personal time.
This is AIC right next to the client that's moving with the client. As you moving with the vehicles, setting up the vehicles, the only thing I'll send up the chain of command when I'm there early and everything, so I'll be like, hey, we're all set down here. I'll send you a text message. Hey, we're all set down here, ready for you.
And that's fine.
As soon as we're
but
ready
don't
to
give me
drop.
the questions. Where should I meet you? Like, I'm not going to come meet you right now.
Why do I need to meet you?
Like,
what do you need?
I don't even want to talk to you right now.
Exactly. So you have to start thinking the way that someone who's driving the entire operation's thinking. Anyways, gents, This is good. We might do more, but for now,
we're doing more.
we're definitely going to do
I got more to say.
We got a whole trip. So, hey, as always, it's an honor. Protection's more than just a job. It's a lifestyle.
Can I boom?
Yes. Boom. What's up, you guys? So me and Luke are rolling into the farm right now to conduct the final day of training for the Executive Protection Hard Skills Intensive at my Executive Protection School, the League. Executive Protection Specialists, the Brotherhood. So what are your thoughts, Pemba?
Back on the top 5 things we hate people do.
Right.
And we talked about this one last night.
Yeah.
Don't steal clients from the owner of the company.
You tall, fat, drinking crap. You stole our client, man.
Top 5 things we really, this one you could say hate. That absolutely can't happen in the executive protection industry.
It will murder you. You might think you're fine, but bottom line, nobody keeps clients forever except you. Well, I had one for 8 years. That was cool. But it never lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
You will destroy yourself in your sphere. And don't think these guys, like in Southern California, all those company owners talk. And if you try or succeed, you might succeed in taking a client from somebody, everybody will know. And nobody will work with you ever again, no matter who you are or what you got. Nothing. None of it.
Excommunicado. And it kind of goes to one of the principles I talk about quite a bit, which is always take the long money over the short money. I mean, you just got to think, man, how much money are you taking opportunity, livelihoods off the table for the entire wolf pack, for your whole tribe, for everyone in your tribe by taking a client because you're going to offer them a little bit less to do the work. And what do you know about business? What do you know about liability? What do you the jump from being an operator to being a business owner is monstrous. The probability of success is so just ominous without any guidance or previous business acumen, not to mention the absolute bludgeoning your reputation will. You will be excommunicado from all the honorable people in the game, and more than likely, a client who is willing to do this is like marrying the woman you cheat with. Okay, a client that is willing to do this to you will be willing to do this. Wait for it. To you. So you will stab the man or woman who owns the company in the back, Judas him, right? Take money off the table for all these guys so you could make like a day rate or whatever salary you have, while cutting yourself out from having the brand equity you need to move around in the industry effectively, find new jobs, everything else like that. It's so short-sighted and immature. It's just literally, like, on paper, numerically, the dumbest thing you could do. And then not to mention honor. You lose honor.
Yeah.
For one account, that client is going to get tired of, our demographic, they get tired of Lamborghinis and yachts and stuff. You realize that, right? Just because you're the flavor of the month.
I'll say this too. I told your class this yesterday. It's okay to have a client fire you. Clients have not liked me before and let me go. Or I really messed up and they're like, I didn't like that he went left instead of right.
Yeah.
Why did he take me to Starbucks when I obviously said, I wanted coffee bean?
Exactly.
Like, serious stuff like
I hate his shoes.
You just said
This
coffee,
executive
and I took you to coffee. Like,
You rented a Ford instead of a Chevy. I can't have a guy with me who rents Fords
why am I
instead
in
of
an
Chevys.
expedition?
Mrs. Carlisle, the protectee, is never allowed to sit directly behind the driver. That's a regulation. Nobody does it. Not the president, not anybody.
The sun will be on that side, and I do not want the sun.
Perhaps you could sit on the proper side, but slightly then to the middle.
Nope.
But getting fired from a company is, I'm cool with, like,
Client
sorry it
doesn't
didn't
like
work
it.
out.
Yeah, it's
But
just
guess
not a
what?
fit.
That
Like
company is going to throw me, boom, on something else right away.
Yeah.
And the only time I have seen agents transfer with a client was this guy had been with this client for 6-7 years-ish, something like that, and the client was no longer happy with the service the company was giving them. They liked him, and they were like, hi, we would like to keep you on, but ... Now, some companies have like a buyout, where you can be like, hey, you want to hire him full-time or something like that. A lot of other times it's, hey, the bid went up, we didn't get the bid, but the client is asking if I would like to stay. That is, you're talking to the company owner. And if the company owner goes, no, if I can't have him, no one can, and pulls that kind of BS, like, I've never seen a legit honorable company not try to help a guy like, hey man, I've been with these guys for a while, I helped solidify this account for you, etc., etc. They're no longer happy with the service this company's providing, so they're going to this option. This company's willing to bring me on at my same rate. Cool. Yeah, and those kind of things can be talked about. But this whole, if a client ever asks you how much you're making, never tell them. Ever. Do not murk the company like that. And you don't need to know, okay?
Well, you just tell them, you know.
Like, hey, yeah, go ahead and talk to my director of operations or talk to the company owner or whoever it is.
We have a policy where we're not actually supposed to talk about that with our principals and clients. And, you know, that's a conversation we're supposed to defer you to Byron or Luke or whoever's running the detail.
Yeah, but they might, you know, you might be making $500, but they're paying $850, you know, and they're going, well, hey, I'll pay you $750.
Yeah.
You know, and you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna make an extra $150 a day. No.
Well, yeah, you'll make that extra $150 a day, but do you have a PPO? Do you have insurance?
Do you have liability? All this other stuff.
You'll be rolling balls out, and then something will happen, or someone will find out, or the company that you steal the client from will report you to BSIS, or, and you know, like,
basically,
you're not doing payroll, and you're not.
Just don't do it. And I know a lot of you say this. I can't count the number of times I've seen the googly eyes happen. And it usually happens with guys with like quote unquote backgrounds, and they think like, well, what is this company like? I was law enforcement for 50 years.
I was special forces everything.
Like,
why is this guy making money on me?
It doesn't matter. It's kind of like with training when guys are like, well, I've been training for the last 40 years of my career. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Just stop.
Just go away.
Stop.
You're not even playing the same game.
I got more training than. Okay.
I don't care about who you were. I care about who you are now. Yeah. And the fat dude who's overweight coming to me saying this, that. Anyway, those tend to be the kind of guys that steal clients.
Yeah.
Most of you guys watching Byron are on here because you want a higher level of living. Success, experience. You want to be a higher level person, so that's why you're here. Having said that, do not get googly eyes. And I know it's hard. You got a family. You're trying to make something. Don't do it. It'll bite you in the long run, and you will have no longevity. I'm 20 years in this. I've never done it. And every company I've ever worked for, I can go work for right now.
Yep.
And I've messed up.
Yeah.
Messed up. Like, oh, you know we got to fire you, right, Luke? I was like, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, I know. I get it. You know.
Yep.
But guess what? They just put me on another account, and that same client that fired me brought me back, and I was on her for 3.5 years.
Yeah, that's the game, man. Be a good dude, do good things. Make sure you keep your honor clean. These principles are in place because they actually work in the spectrum of success. And, you know, we could break it down to you numerically and tactically how it's actually just a huge mistake. But understand principles first, because the principles are really what keep you in the clear. If you don't have the time to run all these different considerations I'm talking to you about, just principally be an honorable person, and you will stay clear of this, and you'll have the brand equity to be able to achieve success in this game as long as you are connected with the right people and you do good work by the grace of God. That's what we got for you. Now I got to get down to these students who are out here.
Oh, they're fighting each other.
At the farm.
I like this. They're fighting each other.
Getting physical, moving principles, all the madness. Ready? Boom. Real quick message to the industry. And message to clients. Message to people hiring executive protection professionals, private security professionals. There's just a lot out there when it comes to the quality of service you get. you know, and when it comes to what your agents are actually capable of. You know, I hear agents out here in the industry quite often that say things like, oh, well, you know, if you have to use these skills, you've already made a whole bunch of mistakes. If you have to use your hard skills, you know, you've done so much wrong. And the reality of this game is like, not necessarily. You know, Rick Sweeney said it during one of our podcasts, and I need to drive it home. No, not necessarily. If you have to use these skills, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you've done everything wrong as a protection professional. It's just the reality of what we do. You know, sometimes you have clients that want to go to bad neighborhoods late at night because they make the best fried chicken. Sometimes you have clients that want to go to areas that are unsafe in the world because they have orphanages there, or because it's just a consequence of their brand and what their brand does. You know what I'm saying? A book signing is an opportunity for someone who's been tracking your client to know about a public event and show up and try to do something to your client. There's so many different aspects where you may have to use your hard skills to use the tool of violence and or save a life with your medical background and or address a threat on the freeway as you drive venue to venue that just could happen because an insurance company rates your client at a level where they need professional protection. And you find yourself in these places and in these environments and with these people that are paying quite a lot of money for you to be there because there's a reality of risk. So company owners, you know, when you're setting these contracts up, look at setting up a training budget. You know, agents, when you're asking about being on a team, when you're asking about joining a company, ask them, you know, what do you guys do for training? You know, when we're looking at setting these things up, clients, when's the last time you saw these agents qual? What does your company have in terms of proprietary training? You know, all those different things, because the reality is follow home robberies do happen. You know, the reality is there is inherent risk to what we do, and a lot of agents in the game are in the game because they have a cool background, law enforcement, military, whatever it is, but currently, what are they currently able to do? That becomes the question. And so for real true protectors, executive protection, private security is more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. And I just wanted to come on here and drive that home, because there's a lot of people out here that are working and giving us a bad rap as professional protectors because they really, really wouldn't know what to do if something happens. They really, really don't know what to do if something happens. And they're in a little bit of a position where they don't have the access to the training, or they don't prioritize the training. But there are a lot of civilians thinking that they're safe, and they really, really may not be, because our job is to outperform other human beings in order to save life in violent encounters or when it comes to medical and all those things. And you need to be, the things you do when you're not training, or the things you do when you're not working, are the things that make it so you can perform on the job. Executive protection is more than just a job, it's a lifestyle. Byron Rogers, protector by nature and by trade. Yo, what's up, team? Executive protection training day field note. Who do we want to hire? Let's start thinking about executive protection. It's a largely independent operation, right? You should be able to do your stinking job without oversight from your boss. You should be like an operator. Like, here's the mission. Go, get it done, right? Get it done with excellence. Get it done in a way that is in keeping with the excellence that is the brand of the company you hire, that is in keeping with your personal brand, your name, who you are as an agent. You shouldn't have to have your boss running around behind you trying to make sure you do all the stuff that you were hired to do, and you're cutting corners and, you know, not executing on SOPs. You should take pride in what you're doing. Your boss, you want to be the guy that gets elevated in a company, elevated in the industry. Even if your company doesn't have the upward mobility you want the other guys that you work with to be like, yo, this cat's legit. He handles his trash. You know what I mean? Like your street credit. You know what I mean? Your street credit, your name. What do people think when they hear your name out there in the game? Do they roll their eyes? Or they're like, oh yeah, that guy. You know, oh, that guy who's, you know, special forces or law enforcement who thinks he knows everything. Is that what they're thinking? Or are they thinking like, oh, no, that dude was solid to work for. He was making plays for the team. He got us some waters on the low, got him out to all of us, you know, made sure the client was taken care of, went the extra mile. He had extra chargers, extra apple juice for the client's phones, all the different adapter cords. He ran his routes after we got done that night. So the next day he was good. He woke up 3 hours early, ran his routes, was locked, cocked, ready to rock 1 hour before the client got to push. You know what I'm saying? Went met with the venue, met with all the POCs, shook hands. That dude went to the ATM machine, made sure he had enough caked up everybody all the auxiliary teammates from the venue. That cat's a good dude to work with, man. He made everything, dude. The DJ was easier because that juggernaut was there. Are you an EP special? Are you one of us? Are you part of the league? You know what I'm saying? But far and away, don't be one of those agents that's just phoning it in. Like, we honestly in this industry, we don't really want you. Like, we don't need you. Like, you're bringing down the average. As a black man, I try to be as professional as possible, as well spoken as possible. I try to bring up the average for every single culture and demographic. I represent veterans. I represent black men. I represent business owners. I represent entrepreneurs. And I represent Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I always try to bring honor to those things by the quality of the work I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, I apologize and I pivot. I tell that boss, client, stakeholder, hey, you know what? I made a mistake, but I'm more valuable to you now because it'll be a long time before I make that mistake ever again. Probably never make that mistake again. Might make another mistake, but I'll get better. I'll be more valuable to you after I make that mistake. But like some of y'all running around here trying to act cool with your special cars and your special forces, trying to go to trainings, act like you're legit. But then when we get on the job, you're just trying to phone it in. You know what I'm saying? Unacceptable. And the streets are watching. You know what I'm saying? The streets don't love you. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, work so that you can be a workman that needeth not be ashamed, so that you can take pride in who you are, what you do, and your companies can take pride in you, your clients can take pride in you, your principals can take pride in you, and you can be a real, actual, legitimate protector, bringing honor back to this vocation that we do, that we get paid and compensated for. So just some thoughts. Executive Protection Training Day field note from Byron Rogers. Pass this around to all those cats needed out there in the game. I love you. Boom, Byron Rogers, Executive Protection Training Day field note. Why do we show up 2 hours early? We show up 2 hours early because you want to make sure you have a solid hour to conduct your advance, Playboy. You need a solid hour to conduct your advance, depending obviously on the venue. Some things we advance days, weeks, prior. But additional to your digital advance, you want a solid hour to advance. And then you need a solid hour, Playboy, to sit there. 1 full hour to sit there. Good to go? And that 1 full hour to sit there is that 1 full hour for Murphy. That's what that whole entire game's all about. Like, when you don't show up with 2 hours early, you'll be tested. When you do show up 2 hours early, you won't be tested, right? And if you get lazy and you don't show up 2 hours early, you'll be tested again. That's the game. These principles are fail-safes to make sure you can operate in the big game, and when things break down, you're going to be really happy that you had these systems, fail-safes, and disciplines in position. I show up 2 hours early so I can have 1 whole hour to sit there, and that isn't really to sit there. That 1 whole hour is to spar with Murphy as he comes up with good ideas, throws curves, balls, and does all the stuff that he generally does while you're trying to get things done. Be a professional above all things and be known for that. Byron Rogers, Executive Protection Training Day field note. I'll see you in the big game. Boom! Quick shout out to our sponsor, Staccato. My first pistol sponsor. I've been sponsored by a lot of companies, right, over the years. But when it comes to pistol, that's my bread and butter. Pistol is something I believe in. I'm a competitive shooter. We're shooting anywhere from, 800 rounds a month type of thing, right? So Staccato, being what I believe, is one of, if not the most complete handguns you can put in your hand. It's got every component that a handgun could have, should have. They're actually extremely dependable now that they've made some changes, and these things are straight up tack drivers. If you're looking for a pistol that will do as much of the work for you as a piece of hardware can, obviously you have to have the marksmanship and all the different things, but different guns perform at different levels. And I want to say that Staccato is one of, by far, for sure, take it from a competitive shooter, we're shooting the highest volumes of rounds constantly right now. Not used to have a background guy, but like right now, when you go shoot, you're gonna see certain brands. Staccato is one of, if not the highest performing firearm that is both CCW, duty ready, and also competitive ready. So I want to give them a shout out. If you guys are looking for a good handgun to build your skills on top of, go check out Staccato. Much love and respect. Boom, when it comes to the technology you use to protect your home, there's nothing better than Deep Sentinel. AI-driven, human-monitored technology that will keep you and your family safe for the same price you're paying for whatever Ring doorbell system you have. Check out Deep Sentinel. It's such an honor to join forces with these guys. They should be in every single house in the world. Get real-time Overwatch for you and your loved one. And for 10% off, depending on when you're watching this, don't forget to use code Byron at checkout. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry and also to making America a safer place. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can, because it makes all of these things possible. Thanks for those contributions.